Right, I'm about to do it. I'm about to go on my first run of my marathon training block. I'm quite nervous. Not for the distance, it's 3.5k, which is fine, we can do 3.5k. It's just like, it's the start of something, it's the start of my commitment, it's the start of a big training block, and that's always nerve-wracking. But I'm going to try and take it one run at a time, not think ahead. I'm just thinking about this run that I've got to do today, which is so doable. Let's go. Guys, I did it. I did my first run. I've got something to tell you. Tragic turn of events. So the last clip you saw of me doing my first run of my marathon training block, I haven't run since, and it's like a week later. And the reason for that, and I'm not proud, is that I kept getting drunk. Now, I don't drink that much, okay? I don't know what is in the air, I don't know what's happened, but the last 2 weeks, I want to say, all of my plans, all of my social plans that would usually take up 6 months have just happened within the space of 14 days. So that is why. And I can't run on a hangover, guys. Even a few kilometres, I can't do it. This body doesn't work like it used to anymore. So it's a new week. I'm feeling much fresher. Oh, there's a little cat coming towards me. Come on. I'm a cat whisperer. Anyway, today's a new week. And oh, thanks. And marathon training will resume this week. Oh my god. Hello? Are we friends? Oh, thank you. It's a bit later in the day, excuse my washing. I've just been working and I went for a walk and bought a new book, so that was fun. Anyway, I am now just getting ready to head out for a run. I am doing I can tell you actually, 3-kilometre run. It is a 1k warm-up at conversational pace, which for me says no faster than 8:25 per kilometre, and then 1k at 8:05 per kilometre, and then 1k at 7:30 per kilometre. And that's my session. It sounds pretty simple. I'm knackered today. Pushing myself to get out, and the fact it's only 3k and I'll be back in, half an hour max, is getting me out the door. It's fucking freezing. It's like, 7 degrees? But it feels so much colder, so I feel like I'm going to layer up. And what I've realised is I don't really have many running jacket, zip-ups like this. I have 2. They're both from Tala, and they're great, by the way. But the other one's in the wash, and I managed to find this one. And I think I might shove a jacket over the top as well, just because I know I'll warm up when I start running, but I'm not going to be out there for that long. So I'm just going to shove this, what is it, like a windbreaker jacket? I don't really know. Oh, this is from Gymshark. It's fine, it does the job. What else? My headphones, my phone, I need to get my watch. And then we're going to go out and we're going to do this run. And this is the official start of my marathon training block. Okay, we're off. The fringe is out, loud and proud, which I'm not sure how I feel about, but I didn't have any clips. Look at it, oh my god, it looks so funny. Anyway, I'm going to slow down because I've just realised, now that I've started speaking, that I'm running too quickly. I'm going to slow down. And instead of pace, I'm just going to go off feel for this, I think, because I could very well run slower than 8:25 today. Look who's still here. Go home. Hey? Go home. Holy shit. I didn't film any more of that run because weirdly there was loads of police around where I was running. I don't really know what that's about, so I didn't exactly want to rip my camera out if I was in the middle of a crime scene. That was not technically, it was a speed session, and it's just so much harder to actually have a thought that's not, this is hell. Do you know what I mean? So I thought I would just catch you up here. That was tough. Let me have a look at my numbers, because I guess I am trying to focus on my pace a little bit now. My average pace was 7:50 per kilometre, but within that, like I said, I had a few pace targets to hit, and it was nothing crazy, nothing that I can't do. It's just I'm actually worried about how unfit I feel at the minute. Like, I don't ever remember being this unfit apart from when I first started running, like 3 years ago. So I'm slightly concerned, but we're not going to worry about it now. I'm treating them as like I am a total beginner, so obviously I'm going to find it hard. Anyway, I ran for 23 minutes, so my first kilometre was actually too fast. It was 7 minutes 41. Should have been a lot easier than that. I could feel that I was running too hard. My second kilometre was 8:36, which was a lot better. And then my final kilometre, which was the one that I had to push at, I think the pace, it was like around 7:30 per kilometre was the recommended thing. I did 7:14 because I just got to a point when I was like, well, I'm already struggling, I might as well run faster, and then it'll be over faster. So that's 3K done. Not feeling the best, but that was my first run of the block, technically not. And I'm just really trying to go easy on myself, show myself a bit of kindness, remember that getting back into a routine is hard. Running again is hard. Running intensely again is hard. I'm happy I did it. That is like all I can ask for, and that is run 1 done. My other runs are looking okay for this week. They're really short. So what I'm going to do now is like just talk you through what my training plan looks like at the minute and how I'm building up, because on Instagram I announced basically the other day that I was running a marathon, the same day that you guys saw Sunday's upload, and I put a question box on Instagram, and a lot of people interestingly were like, why are you starting training so soon? And I just didn't expect people to ask that, so I'll run through all of that now. Let's do that now. Right, I thought we could have a little chin wag about my training plan. Yeah, why have I started so early? Basically, I think a standard, not that there is a standard, but generally marathon training plans are 12 weeks. You'd think I would be starting this in like, I don't know, like January maybe. But the reason that I wanted to start now is because it's all about building up that fitness and also the confidence again. That's kind of my main reason for it. And yeah, I could have done like a 5K or a 10K or a half marathon plan, but I didn't really feel the need to. I'd rather just build up slowly and increase my volume gradually. 1, so I don't get injured. 2, so it's not really overwhelming. Before that, I didn't really have any routine with running, and I knew that I needed to like give myself a bit of a kick up the arse. And I felt like the only way I could do that was by starting the marathon training earlier. I'm going to run through very quickly, because I could talk about this forever, what my training plan looks like, how I customize it, basically what I'm going to be doing for the next 23 weeks. So yeah, I'm still using the Runner app. So I'll put what I'm doing on screen so that you can see it. But basically, if you haven't used Runner before, to be fair, even if you currently have Runner, a lot of people don't really know that you can do this because it was an update that they made a few months ago now, and sometimes, I don't know, I guess it can get missed. So basically, it's really easy to customize your training plan so that it suits you even more. I know one of the criticisms of Runner usually is that it's too hard or like it sets unrealistic runs. I think there's 2 things. I think the first thing is that when you're inputting anything into any sort of training app, whether it's Runner or not, you need to use your current paces of where you are right now, not where you want to be, and just be completely honest with yourself about like when you put in your 5K time, put in your actual 5K, like your most recent 5K time, not a 5K time that you did like 3 years ago. It needs to be up to date, otherwise it's not going to build you a plan based on accurate data. So that's one thing you need to start with. And also the main thing that I actually want to talk about is training preferences. So we've got training volume, difficulty, and then your current weekly mileage and longest run. So you'd set this up at the start of whatever training plan that you're using. So basically training volume, I'm going to slide through it so you can see. So you can do gradual, steady, or progressive. So just to show you the 2 contrasts, gradual would be low volume with minimal disruption. So if you've got a busy schedule or like lots of commitments, you might want to choose that. On the other end of the spectrum is progressive. So if you really want to push your limit, it says, and achieve peak performance. So maybe you've got a goal that you really, really want to get, you would maybe use progressive. And then I've gone steady, which is somewhere in the middle. And then difficulty. So this will determine how many speed runs you do a week. It will also determine how many other types of runs have specific pace targets. So I've gone for challenging because I do want to push myself, and I also just see it as optional. Like there might be some weeks where I don't want to push or I want to swap a run out, and that's fine. Like you don't have to follow this as gospel. I do not follow it as gospel. When you set up the plan, you put in your weekly mileage and your longest run, and that basically should be based off recent data. So like, look at your Strava or whatever you use to track your runs and actually look at how far your weekly mileage is and also what your longest run is. And then it will basically, from week 1, it won't make you jump up really, really high, and it's really going to help you increase your volume each week gradually, just to avoid like risk of injury and things like that. And then you can also choose running ability. I went with beginner, right? And I know I'm not necessarily a beginner, but I feel like one. And I wouldn't say that I have regularly been running a 5k recently. That's why I've gone with beginner. That might be a little like too safe, but I just want to feel safe right now, so I've gone with beginner. So basically that means that when I look at my weeks, it looks like this. So this is what the overview. So you can see like my long run in week 2 is 5k, my long run in week 3 is 6. Week 4, I have a deload week, which is basically where your total distance dips slightly. And then week 5, my long run is 7k. Week 6, it's 8k. So there are gradual increases in my plan, which means that you are adapting week to week, and everything just feels like it just makes sense, you know? There's nothing crazy going on. It's chill. And this basically just continues all the way to my race day. So yeah, I have got 3 runs a week. That is an easy run, a speed run, which are either tempo or interval runs, and then I have a long run, and that's all I'm doing every week in terms of running. If you do want to use Runner, as always, I have a discount code for 2 weeks free, which you can find in the description. That's me. I hope that wasn't too long-winded. God, let's have a little break and get into my next run. Good afternoon. Do I look funny? It's freezing, as you can tell. And I realised, I was like, I have no warm running things. I went to a Lululemon dinner the other day and I went home with this in my little gift bag. I think there's a tag on it somewhere that I need to take off. Oh, it's one of those bloody fabric ones. I'm gonna have to cut it off before I leave. Anyway, I'll leave a link for it if you're interested. This is called a featherweight down quilted vest. I'll leave a link for it if I can find it. Anyway, I've got my little headband on from Free People. I have the same one that I had last year in like a purple colour or maroon. And I was like, you know what? I wore it a lot throughout training last winter. So I'll get another one. I'm wearing these are Lululemon Fast and Freeze, and then I just have some random socks on that don't match, and I've folded the logo over so you can't tell. Coros watch as always, and this is from Tala. Anyway, I am going out to do a 4k easy today. As I've been saying, I feel the most unfit I've ever felt in my life, which is great. So I'm gonna honestly just take this super slow and just not even look at my pace and just concentrate on keeping it easy. I feel like because I'm so unfit at the minute, what I thought was my easy pace is actually not my easy pace anymore. So we're going to find out what my easy pace is today based on how easy I can actually run. My usual easy pace, I would say, has been around 8 minutes per kilometre, maybe a bit more. So we'll see what that's like today. But I just want to get out. I want to get out the house. This is my second run of my training block and I just want to get it done. And I also want to be warm doing it. I've waited for the warmest part of the day, which is about now. It's 6 degrees. I actually think it might be a bit colder than that. So I want to make sure that I'm wrapped up nice and toasty. And then we're just going to go and we're going to do a nice little easy run. Trying to take it slow. It's going okay. I'm a kilometre in. Oh my God. Branch just fell. Anyway, feeling good. Oh, hi my friends. I did my run. Here are my stats. It turns out my easy pace is pretty much the same as it always has been. I just feel more unfit. It's crazy what the mind does after like you lose confidence in your running abilities. So I'm going to take that as a learning. I also didn't really stop to walk that many times, mainly because I didn't want to get really cold. And it was fine. I
tried to really recognise when I was going too fast and really push myself back and run slower. Although there was one point where I honestly felt like I was jogging on the spot and I was like, this is tedious. But this is where I'm at right now, and you know what, that's alright. And I've just got to push through, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm really proud of myself, and that is run 2 out of 3 of my marathon training so far. And I'm just really happy with that I did it. And now it's Friday and the sun is already setting and it is like almost 3 o'clock. Yeah, and now I'm gonna go home and do some more work and then have a really chilled evening. I've got to do this was my long run. I've got a final easy run to do on Sunday. I'll probably do it. And Saturday, Sunday look like we're going to be a washout. So it looks like you and I are going to have to run in the rain together. And I'll film a lot of that run because I know I haven't filmed most of my runs this week. But I'm really just trying to get back into it. And I'm finding it really hard to run and talk at the minute because I just feel not there with my fitness. And I know it might sound really simple, and I'm sure you guys probably relate to this as well. But like, I really have to think about running slowly to try and run slow. Like, if I start talking, I start speeding up, or I'm not concentrating on the pace that I'm doing. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna head in now because I'm getting a bit chilly. Good morning. I've been up since 4 a.m. this morning because the F1 is on in Las Vegas, and I didn't want to miss it, being this close to the end of the championship. So I'm quite tired. It is 8:38. And then I basically watched Gilmore Girls until about 40 minutes ago. And now I'm just gonna have some breakfast. But yeah, I'm gonna have some toast. I annoyingly forgot to make my overnight oats that I have pretty much every morning. So I'm just gonna have a classic Marmite on toast, which, you know what, I'm actually in the mood for on a weekend morning. And then I'll let that digest and then we'll go. I'm going to feel really good once I've got it done. I don't know about you, but like, I'm such a homebody and I just love being cozy and being at home and being warm, especially on weekends, because the weeks are so busy. And like at the weekend, I really love to just, like, my ideal weekend, if I don't have any plans, is to like turn my phone off, sit on the sofa, watch something, read. But I always like to do like one little bit of movement just so that, I don't want to say I feel like I've earned being sat on the sofa, because I don't know if that's like the best frame of mind, but I always feel better having known that I've done something for myself and now I can just sit and relax. So that's what I'm doing this morning, and this will be our last run of the week, which marks the end of the first week of marathon training, which is a big week. I feel like we think that like the big weeks are the ones that have we think that the big weeks are the ones that have like the biggest distance, but actually starting something new I think is a big week and we should celebrate it. So yes, I'm gonna eat and then we're gonna run, and it's gonna be cold, but it's going to feel so nice when we get in, and then we can be cozy for the rest of the day. Right, I am pretty much ready to go now. I have eaten, I have digested, I am yawning. We're going to go on this run. I'm wearing Brooks top, Fast and Free leggings by Lululemon, runner hat. I can't be bothered to put my watch on today. I can see it, the thought of putting it on, I just can't be bothered, so I'm just going to track my run on Strava and then connect it to Runner that way. So yeah, I'm feeling very lazy today. Thank God it's only a slow run and not very far. Let's go and do this run and officially tick off my first week of marathon training. I made it out and I'm so glad I did because it's a beautiful day. I think I may be like 800 metres in. I'm guessing I've not looked at my phone, so I don't know. And I just remembered something I find really useful when I don't want to go out on a run. And at the minute it's only working for my short runs, but I really need to go to Boots. And I've been meaning to go to Boots for like 2 weeks because I need to buy bobby pins for my fringe so that I can like clip it back. And I don't have to put a cap on all the time. Now I've got my bangs, so it's about probably just under 3k round trip, so I'll have to add a little bit extra on, but 2 birds, 1 stone. gives me a reason to get out. And also I split the run into two, so I have a little break in between. And I don't know, I just feel like it's practical and it makes the run a bit nicer, so that's where I'm currently heading now. Not looking at my pace, just running at a speed that feels good, although it's taken me a while to ease into it, which is kind of the problem with short distance runs. Like, my body needs a while to warm up, which is obviously harder when you're only doing 3.5k, but I'm out, that's all that matters, and I feel great. So Runner doesn't give you proper pace targets for an easy run. On mine it just says no faster than, it's usually like an 8:25, so I mainly just go off feel, to be honest, because my pace changes all the time. But yeah, still really struggling to run and talk, no matter how slow I go, so gotta work on that. Score. Yes, you can pause your run if you stop, there's no rules. I've got what I needed, now I'm gonna go. Having to add a few more walking breaks in here because I need the loo. I'm not even safe from a 3k run. I'm nearly home now. You'll be very pleased to know that I made it back with no issues. So that is the end of my first week of training for my second marathon. This is how many kilometers I ran this week, and this is the total time I was on my feet for. As you can see, I think I'm starting very cautiously. I think I could have started off with bigger volume, but I just find like doing something that is just so doable for me, more motivating, and I would just rather do that to start off my big challenge. I think to summarise this week, I definitely feel like a beginner 2.0 again. Running is really hard. I've forgotten how hard it is, but I did learn a couple of things this week, and this is the really good thing about like setting a big goal or training for a marathon, is that you learn things about yourself every single time you go out on a run. So I wanted to share some of my learnings this week. Oh God, I've got a little, kind of lukewarm coffee, and I might add these to the end of every video. So let me know if you want me to continue doing this segment. But one thing that I learned, so if you have watched some of my videos for a while, you'll know that I'm a big fan of Run Walk, also known as Jeffin. If you don't know what that is, it's basically where you go out and you set intentional walk breaks. So you might run for 3 minutes and walk for 1 minute and then repeat. I did that a lot throughout my marathon training and anything beyond my marathon training, but I actually hadn't done that recently at all. I don't really know why. One thing that I have definitely learned by not setting myself run walk intervals is that planned stops are way less demoralizing than stopping because you feel like you need to because you're totally out of breath. I think one of the reasons why I was feeling so unfit is because I just kept having to stop. So I'm definitely going to be introducing those back going into my training for next week. I think that there's nothing to be ashamed of if you're adding walk breaks in. For me, they just really, really help. And it's just completely transformed the way that I run. So I'm glad that I've been reminded of that and how powerful those walk breaks can actually be. So I'm definitely going to be bringing those back. And then the next thing is I've forgot how hard it is to get yourself back into a consistent routine. And I'm not saying by any means that I'm in a consistent routine right now. I've literally just done 1 week of very low volume running. But even that, I just really struggled to get myself out of the house. I don't really know why. It's obviously we're coming into winter now and the weather's not great, but I think it's more than that. I think it's just I've not really had much consistency in a while, and I can't remember the last time that I ran 3 days a week. Which is what my goal is going to be throughout marathon training. So yeah, it's really hard getting into a routine again. And I think if you're beating yourself up because you're not finding it easy to like get out and go for a run, or it's taking longer to get into a more consistent and permanent routine than you would like, just know that it's really bloody hard, and give yourself a bit of slack and do as much as you can to try and make that run less daunting and more fun and easier, and you will find it then once you're out, you'll be really thankful that you did it. And I'm just hoping that the more I push myself to go out and do it, the more you just feel better. And then I'm going to know, like, logically, if I go out now, I'm going to feel a lot better. So I'm going to go out and I'm not going to procrastinate. So yeah, that's what I've learned this week. If you're currently training for anything or you've learned anything yourself this week, let me know. Let's share our learnings. And thank you very much for joining me. It's always better when I have people to share it with. And this week was really just about getting my head down, which is why there wasn't a ton of footage of me actually running. I was just trying to find a balance of like getting out and doing it and also trying to share as much with you guys as I could, you know, in the moment. So yeah, if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe. I would love that. And I will see you in the next video.